Fishyaker.com, the original kayak rigging video series.
The other day, I did a video on the importance of carrying toilet paper when you're kayak fishing. Yeah, if you'd have missed it, take a look back at it. But really, it's something you never think about. But a lot of us have been in that type of position, or our friends have. You're out on the water, you've been out on the water for a long day, and the urge hits you. Well, after the video, my buddy Roger reached out to me because I'd mentioned about having an emergency go bag when you're on the water kayak fishing. So let's talk a little bit more about preparedness, emergency preparedness when you're kayak fishing. This is what I mentioned. Basically, it's just a standard dry bag I picked up at a local department store, but it's pretty durable, pretty well designed, but I have all sorts of things in it. This is something that, especially if I'm going on a long float trip, or I'm paddling all day long, or I'm camping, this is stuff I usually don't even crack open except for a couple times a year to double check it, to update the stuff in it. But it typically stays either in my trunk, or when I'm going for a long float, I'll stick it inside the hull of the kayak and kind of forget about it, Something good to have, but things I don't normally have to rely on a regular day. So let's take a look at it. Again, this is an emergency go bag for when you're kayak fishing. So, again, I keep it in a dry bag, so everything in this is secure and safe, and they jam a whole bunch of stuff in it. So, this doesn't mean this is all absolute, everything you need to have. This is just a start. Some of these things you may not think you need. There are probably some other things that would help too that you may want to put in that I don't have in it. And I'm not saying this is perfect, but it's a start. This may give you some ideas. So when you go out kayak fishing, these are some things that might really come in handy. So you might want to prep one of these and just keep it in the hull of your boat. So let's take a look. All right. First of all, we've done videos on it before. It's really important to have. This is just a standard small one. I can carry another larger one with me if I need to, but a first aid kit. This one here only costs about $4 at Walmart. So I keep it sealed. It's got the little, zip tie, little zip lock on it that comes on it when I purchase it. So I know that if I ever cut that and crack it open, I know I don't have a full package there. So a first aid kit. Very important. We talked about them before. What else is in here? Everything in here I'm kind of keeping in individual big zip locks to keep them all from snagging and punching the bag, putting a hole in it, or just getting lost inside. It's easier to pull everything out when it's each individually bagged. This, just a poncho. I keep this. It came in this little plastic package. I put it in a zip lock. But a poncho, you never know when you need it. Like if you have to sleep out in the bush or something at night, it's good to have. Poncho. Sponge. You can see it's been in there for a while. It's gotten all compressed on me. But a sponge, a big sponge, very good to have. We probably got mono because we're fishing. Monofilament. This one here is just 12-pound test. You can use this for making a little, lean-to or any number of things. You can probably get even some higher, pound tests you want to. But just some mono. Comes in really handy. You never know. Even for wounds and injuries and stuff too, it comes in handy. For making splits, you name it. Done videos before about socks. Look in your basement by your washer and dryer. I'm sure you got a couple orphan socks sitting around. These come in really handy because if your feet get really wet or really damp, or you need a rag. I love using socks for rags. You come in a whole bunch of different, purposes. You never know you need a sock. So get a couple orphan socks. Don't just chuck them. Go in a Ziploc. Go in the bag. It's a water sport, right? An old towel. Old Centera towel. Love this thing. Just an old towel. I never use it otherwise, so I keep it in a bag. Emergency throw rope. If you don't have one of these come in really handy, especially if you're in big open water. It's really rough conditions, white water, things like that. You hold the end, you chuck it at your friend. They can grab it and pull them to shore. Comes in really handy. If you don't have one, you can probably make one, but a throw rope. Extra t-shirt. You need a layer, get cold. You can use it for rags. You can make a sling out of it. You name it, t-shirt. I might have talked about this several years ago, but survey ribbon. This stuff's really cool, especially when I do a lot of backcountry paddling and cypress swamps and stuff. A lot of that bush there can really look confusing. Every different direction you look looks the same. It looks totally different going back than it did when you were floating out. But you can actually mark your way with survey ribbon, or it can help you, people find it too. This is a whole hodgepodge of stuff here. keep this all together. Smaller items, I keep them in one big Ziploc. Obviously, what kind of, you know, caused this video was toilet paper. Make sure you got toilet paper, my friends. Also, make a really good fire starter, too. All sorts of different reasons. A lighter. In addition to a lighter, keep a couple books of matches. Again, definitely these keep them in a Ziploc. They get wet, probably be ruined, and you don't want to like rub against other stuff, be messed up or burst into flames. I don't know. Anyhow. This because I usually carry food on the boat otherwise with me, but just in case, I got a couple granola bars, a bunch of candy, stuff like that. You know, it's off season now, but I'll put like, you know, Slim Jim, stuff like that in it, crackers. I have a bag with some snacks in it, you never know. You can put a couple bottles of water in it if you want to too. That comes in handy, but I usually have that on the boat otherwise too, somewhere else. Sparrow Whistle comes in really handy. What happens if you get separated from your kayak and you need a whistle and you see somebody floating down the river or across the water, you need to reach out to them. You can't because your life jacket's gone. Anyhow, talked before about hand sanitizer. This is one little clip-on hand sanitizer, one from that other video. This stuff's really great. Cleans your hands, sanitizes stuff. It also burns really well. It's alcohol-based, so you can start fires with this stuff. Comes in handy for all sorts of stuff, too. You folded up paper towels. Again, you can use it for cleaning as a rag. Fire starter. See a trend? What emergency preparedness video wouldn't, you know, would exist without duct tape? All I did here, I took a pencil. You never know when you might need a pencil. I broke the pencil in half. You can always sharpen it. And then I rolled a bunch of duct tape around it. But duct tape. Never leave home without duct tape, friends. Starting to collapse on me here. This Ziploc here has a couple layers of Ziplocs, a few tools in it. I've got another pair of needle nose pliers, pocket knife. Keep that in there. You never know when you'll need these things. You can always add other things to it if you need to. But a few little tools in there. But make sure you package them real well so they don't tear your bags up. A flashlight. Get yourself an LED flashlight. Keep the batteries out of the flashlight in a separate Ziploc in the Ziploc with it. If you leave the batteries in there, you know what happens, especially if it's damp and moist and all that good stuff. Those batteries are going to eat all up inside your flashlight. So take the batteries out, put them in a separate bag, and I usually put them in the same overall Ziploc with a flashlight. How many times we left home or gone camping or something, we realized, dang, we don't have a flashlight. LED flashlights are dirt cheap. Give them a dollar store game. Next one here is a real important one, we kind of overlook a lot. Safety flares. Get out, get a couple of automotive flares if you want to. Any number of these things come in really handy for getting attention for people, starting a fire, burning down islands, bushes, you name it. Get some flares. This is just some of the stuff I often take out on the kayak with me. There's tons more stuff you can take. You know, a full set of clothes. You name it, the sky's the limit. But get yourself a kayak fishing emergency go bag. All the stuff fit in this one bag. It'll fit in the hatch of the kayak. I can shove it down in there, you know, where I can get to it if I need to. And it's always there. I get on the water, I have all this stuff right there at my fingertips. It comes in really handy. Think about those necessities. What happens if you're out kayaking and something happens, you get stuck on an island or even have to like sleep on a kayak somewhere. If you're out, tide shifts, you're high and dry on some mud bank, mud flat, a lot of us have been there. Pack yourself an emergency bag. It's not just for camping trips, but you can keep these in your kayak all the time. And don't forget, if you got buddies with you too, it's really good to have it because you never know if your buddy's going to need some of this stuff. So start off with a first aid kit and then build around that. Build up from the first aid kit. Start with the first aid kit and add all sorts of stuff in it. Just remember rags, fire starting stuff, a couple extra tools, emergency devices, duct tape, flashlight, and then your imagination's the limit. So go out, get yourself a new dry bag, keep all this stuff in it, keep it inside your kayak, or at least keep it in your car, your truck, so when you go kayaking you can shove it in or out, especially if you want a longer trip, and you're going pretty far from your launch, where you're launched from. But if nothing else, keep it inside the hull of your kayak. You can kind of put it in and forget about it. All right? Thanks for watching Fishyaker.com. I hope this tip helps you out. As always, please subscribe to us on YouTube. Like us on Facebook. We'll catch you on the water. Tight lines.